This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 1274 of Horse Tip Daily, your almost everyday morsel of helpful hints, useful facts, and practical techniques for horse folks. Brought to you today by Uncle Jimmy's. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today, Mary Kitzmiller answers a listener question about training a horse to stop without resorting to severe bits. And this is an excerpt from the monthly training episode with Mary Kitzmiller on Horses in the Morning right here on the Horse Radio Network. And we'll get right to our tip after this from Uncle Jimmy's.
Hello, folks. Uncle Jimmy here, and welcome to the world of Uncle Jimmy brand products, where funny names mean serious products. Featuring Uncle Jimmy's Squeezy Buns, the squeezably soft hand treat that your horse will love. The award-winning Uncle Jimmy's Hangin' Balls. Uncle Jimmy's Sugar-Free Ball. The incredible Licky Thing, also in sugar-free. The amazing Uncle Jimmy's Pecker Wrecker. And the Big Licky. The infamous Uncle Jimmy Hangin' Ball was first designed by me for my own horses to help reduce the bad habits which come from stall boredom. It now can be found around the world. This nutritious, flavored-filled boredom buster will help keep your horses occupied and happy around the clock. Properly hung, it will last for weeks, provided you don't let your horse pin it, and Uncle Jimmy knows who you are. The ball comes in 4 flavors: apple, carrot, peppermint, molasses, and now sugar-free. Once again, welcome to the world of Uncle Jimmy's brand products, where funny names mean serious products, and satisfaction is 100% guaranteed.
Rosie posted a video on our auditor page about of her getting dumped last week.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, do you remember seeing that one? The horse took off. She asked,
Yes.
what is the best way to teach breaks under saddle and on the ground? So she's wanting to know, if your horse doesn't have good brakes, how do we increase the braking with the horse?
Well, the first thing I do, I work a lot on one-rein stops in the very beginning, because on a young unbroke horse, they're not going to understand what pulling back means. And if you pull straight back, it's a lot of pressure for a horse that doesn't understand. And their natural inclination is to pull forward, to go against that pressure. And I saw in the video, the horse was dragging an object, and I think the rope touched him on the butt, and he was just surprised by it.
And we've seen that at Road to the Horse, too, by the way. That same scenario.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And if you've only got one hand on the reins, your natural inclination is going to be to pull back. And, of course, the horse goes right through the pressure, and it just doesn't end well. So the one-rein stop is the first thing I do, which is tipping the horse's nose sideways. And for me, it also means that I want my horse to yield their hindquarters if I bring your nose around. Now, here's the mistake everyone makes. They do the one-rein stop 2 or 3 times, and they think, oh, my horse knows it. And then when they're in a situation, 2 things happen. The person is not used to practicing one-rein stops, so they forget about it till they're about $6 into the scenario, which is too late.
Too late.
Try it then. You might still make it out okay. It's too late. Once your horse has hit 70 miles an hour, it's also going to be much harder to wind them down. And the horse is also not used to practicing it, so he's naturally not going to go into that one-rein stop as easily as we need him to. So you cannot practice it enough, which is tipping your horse's nose around, asking him to yield his hindquarters. By yielding his hindquarters, the horse can still move. So if you've got a horse who's frightened and he says, I need to move my feet because I'm scared, you're allowing him to do that. It's like you're not trying to make him stop completely if he's that upset. You're allowing him to still move his feet, but it's in a manner that's controlled. If his hind feet are crossing over, he can't physically bolt, buck, rear, all those things that drop us in the dirt. But he still feels like he's able to move his feet, so it helps him calm down. It helps us get control of the situation. So I work on that a lot, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of times. Now, how do I translate it to, okay, I've got one hand on the reins, I'm in a show and my horse spooks and I need brakes. I cannot take his nose around with one hand. I've done it, but sometimes it's pretty hard. So what I start doing after I've done 100 billion jillion one-rein stops, usually like the first 2 weeks of riding, what I start doing when I'm working on those one-rein stops, instead of just simply grabbing his nose and tipping it around, if I'm practicing and we're in a safe situation, I'm not having to use it in an emergency, what I'll start doing is as I'm trotting or loping the horse around or walking the horse around, about 2 seconds before I pick up, I'm going to sit down, let all the air out of my body and relax. And I'm just going to get real deep and relaxed in the saddle. And then I'll count to about, 2 seconds. Then I'll tip his nose around, and I'll make a habit of that. Sit down, 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 relax, 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 tip his nose. Sit down, tip his nose. Sit down, tip his nose. After a while, the horse is going to realize when I sit down and I relax and I let all the air out of my body, I stop riding the horse. Oh, we're getting ready to do that bendy thing we do. So he's naturally going to start slowing down. So I teach my horse as soon as I can to start reading my seat. If I sit down and relax, all the air is going out of my body. I'm not moving with the horse anymore. I'm just, really deep and relaxed in the saddle. He knows that we're going to wind down to a stop. So he will start anticipating that. So that's a big deal. The next thing I do is I teach him how to stop on the fence. And this is when I start using the W word. I say the W word because I don't throw around the word whoa easily. I see a lot of folks that will be grooming their horse in cross ties, and the horse is antsing around, and they're saying, whoa, 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 whoa. The horse is not really listening, and they're just wearing out that word. If I say that word, the W word, that means stop. Stop everything. If it's a reining horse, it means get your butt in the ground and dig deep and stop. So I don't waste that word any other place. So what I do is I'll trot my horse around on a loose rein. If I have a nice, tall, solid fence, I'll kind of trot them along the fence a little bit. I'm going to sit down, relax, and I'm going to say, whoa. And if they don't stop, then I'm just going to just very lightly turn them into the fence and go the other way. Pick up a trot, go off again. Trot, 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 sit down, say, whoa. If they don't stop, then I turn them into the fence and go the other way. And you do that enough, and I'll do this at the trot and canter. You do that enough, pretty soon when I sit down, the horse says, oh, we're going to turn into the fence. Now, in order to turn into the fence, what does he have to do to make that turn successful? Well, he has to sit down. He has to lift his shoulders so he's freed up enough in the front end to go the other way. So this is actually going to be this is the start of my balanced stop. And in the case of reiners, this is actually the start of my sliding stop. I do this enough, my horses will actually start to slide. So once I get it going pretty well on the fence, usually it takes one session after, 15, 20 minutes of sit down, say, whoa, turn the other way, sit down, say, whoa, turn the other way. One time that I do it, I'll sit down, say, whoa, and my horse will anticipate the turn, and they're going to sit down, get their shoulder ready to make the turn. And in that case, I don't finish the turn. I just stop them on the fence. I love all over them. I may even get off that day, loosen the girth. Perfect. You can't do any better than you just did. Let's finish off for the day. So that's how I start building that stop. And only really after I've done all that will I start working on stopping with two reins. But I have 4 cues that mean stop on my horses. I have 4 ways to get my horses to stop. I practice them individually, then I put them all together. One is the reins, the other is my voice, then there's my seat, and finally my legs. If I take my legs off my horse's sides, they should also stop. This is a reining horse practice. I learned this doing reiners, but it's good for any horse. So that when I'm in the show pen or if I'm in a situation that I need my horse to stop, I have 4 different ways to get my horse to stop. And how I put it all together is I'm loping around. I sit down, I say, whoa, I take my legs off. My reins at that point are only backup. It's only to help the horse find his way to the stop and get soft. I should not have to really be pulling on those reins with any force whatsoever. And I practice this so much that my horses crave it. I let them rest big time after a stop. I let them sit there. I might even get off of them. So my reiners are running around, even if they're at high speed, thinking, when can we stop? When can we stop? That's my favorite thing. And then if I do end up in an emergency situation, they crave that stop so much, and they know that's a good and wonderful place to be, that even if my horse is scared and I put that stop on him, I say, whoa, sit down, pick up the reins, take off my legs, all of that, they're like, oh, thank goodness, I was hoping you would ask me to do this. Rather than, what usually happens is I don't want to stop, I'm too scared.
Well, there you have it. You can find links to today's guest as well as lots more tips at horsetipdaily.com. This podcast was made possible through the generous support of Uncle Jimmy's and listeners like you. Learn how you can help support Horse Radio Network programming and qualify for auditors-only perks by going to horsetipdaily.com and clicking on the Become an Auditor banner. This is Coach Jen, and I'll be back again soon with another tip. So until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements made by guests on the Horse Tip Daily. Please use your own judgment when listening to the tips on this show.